100,000 US dollar salary straight out of college? Holy cow, can that be true? Yes, it can. If you start your career in the US as a business analyst with McKinsey. Not even that. There is much more that can be possible at consulting firms like McKinsey, as you will learn in today's video. I'm Gabriel Goldbrain, and I want you to become a successful, high-caliber, six-figure management consultant. So, let's get started with today's videos. Before we talk about the salary brackets, let's first look into the roles which you find in McKinsey. So, usually you have to distinguish between two kinds or two types of roles. First of all, you have internal roles, and secondly, you have client-facing, so-called consultant roles. Usually the consultant roles, these are the most prestigious one and the roles we are talking about, and usually that's what all McKinsey is about. At McKinsey, you start your career as an analyst. This is the lowest level at which you can enter McKinsey. The analyst role typically is about Excel models, doing research, building PowerPoint presentations, and having interviews with the client on site. Basically collecting and processing data, and that's kind of the core about the analyst role. There are about 18,000 analysts in McKinsey, and you usually stay in the analyst role for about 2 years. Then after 2 years, usually you take a leave to do an MBA or to do a PhD, and then some of those, they return back to the firm, and when they re-enter, they usually come back as an associate. There are about 6,000 to 6,500 associates in McKinsey, and they usually have responsibility for smaller modules. They usually lead a team of 2 to 3 analysts, and they work together with a project manager, to which they progress once they've been 2 to 3 years in the associate role. Once you progress to the so-called engagement manager role from the associate role, that is kind of when you become the project manager. You have full responsibility for a project. You may have 1, 2 associates and several analysts on your team, and you gotta make sure that the project with the client runs well, because that is what the partners want to talk about with you. In that kind of role, as an engagement manager, you stay 2 to 3 years, and after that period of time, you become a junior partner. And with you becoming more senior in such a firm like McKinsey, you get more responsibility for sales. So basically, you transform from an analytical person to kind of a salesperson. And after a certain amount of years, you can also become a senior partner. You have to purchase equity in the firm so that you're committed to it. And then you have reached the top of your career. Let's now look into the PowerPoint presentation, which I prepared to summarize all of what I've just said, and to talk about the salary levels for each of these career stages. You will find the PowerPoint presentation on my website, www.gabrielgoldbrain.com. Let's get started with the presentation. First of all, you will notice that in the US, you will be able to take home the highest salaries of all the 3 regions we are looking into. As a business analyst in the US, you can take home 120,000 US dollars per year, which includes all perks and all non-monetary benefits you get. On the associate level, you can take home about 190,000 US dollars. Then progress to the engagement manager. You will take home about 250 to 300 gross salary, including all benefits. And then on the partner level, it's possible, usually on the lower end, you would maybe have some partners taking home 350,000 US dollars, but usually it's 500 to a million. And then some partners, senior partners, very successful partners, they're able to take home much more. They can take home 2 million, 3 million, maybe up to 5 million, depending on the performance. When you look at the next region on the slide, which is Europe, you will see there is a big spread, particularly when you look at the analyst roles. So business analysts in Europe usually take home 40,000 to 100,000 euros per year. For sure, depending on the country in which they live, which is the kind of biggest differentiating factors. So in Switzerland or in Scandinavia, you will have the highest salaries because this is high salary countries, whereas in countries of Southeast Europe, maybe also Southern Europe, you will earn less than in these high-paying countries. That explains the spread. The same on the associate level, you take home about 100,000 euro to 180,000 euro per year, all benefits included. In Europe, sometimes even analysts, they have like a car deal where they can get kind of a car as part of their compensation package. So, but if you sum it all up, that's the figure. An engagement manager takes home about 180 to 300,000 euros a year. And then, similar to the US, partners in Europe usually make something between 350,000 euros to $1 million. The most successful partners, for sure, they go up to 2-3 million. There is virtually no limit, but it depends on the customers they serve and the success. Then if you look at India, we have starting salary for the business analysts with about 13 lakhs. Then the next level, 35 lakhs, which is the associate level. And then for the project manager, engagement manager level, we have about 70 lakhs, which then, if you progress to junior partner, is about 100 lakhs. And then on partner level, you can have 1, 2, 3 crores. So there is virtually no limit depending on the customers you serve and the projects you bring home. You decided to apply to McKinsey? Make sure that you talk to Goldbrain before you send your application. We recommend our Goldbrain SUCCESS Training to master the rigorous screening and interviewing process that McKinsey will run on you. 99% of the candidates fail. We know what it takes to bring you to the level that you are able to succeed. And the best is, our Goldbrain SUCCESS Training, you only pay when you succeed. If you fail, we take the bill. But please note, we are picky by selecting our candidates because we want to only focus on these who are dedicated enough to make it and have the capabilities to succeed. Finally, I want to recommend 2 videos to you. The first video is about the McKinsey screening process and the steps involved. And the second video is about the entry points depending on your qualification level. Make sure that you subscribe our channel, that you don't miss out the backgrounds and the information you need to be successful in your interviews with McKinsey and the likes.